can't be down there to gank for the duo lane. We'll see what they come up with in picks and bans. We've gone over it a little bit. Let's see if it comes out the way we were thinking.
So with the Rengar ban here from TPA, if they don't ban Lee Sin, it could be the first pick coming in from Insec over here simply to avoid wins actually playing it. And it might be a bait from TPA to say, okay, you first pick the Lee Sin, we maybe get something like a Rise, we can maybe get a Zillion pick, we can also ban the Zillion so we don't pick it. Tristana could be an option for BB. It's been one of his big champions in the GPL as well.
I feel like Royal Club is really looking to get Aurelia for Cola. Like, the fact that they're blue side, basically Alistar and Maokai are almost always red side bans, but they just don't play it in the top lane, so their ban base is really messy here.
I mean, I've seen them play Maokai once. That was against EDG in the regionals final, where they actually first picked it. If they go Rise here, Lee Sin would fall into the hands of TPA.
And that's usually not good. That's usually not good in the slightest.
Quite a bit being left up here, and it is going to be locked in. Do they take away? What else do they get? Wins is actually going to be looking at Kha'Zix right now, the Trist. What an interesting champion.
What the?
So you don't take your best jungler so far in the tournament. Instead, you give it to Insec, who's actually been performing pretty well on Lee Sin. Not to his Rengar level, but still. And the Rise pickup for Cola in the top lane. I mean, we've seen him 2 games in a row now underperforming lane. Still, clearly, Royal Club, they trust in his ability to use this Rise to carry. And also, they don't want to play against it.
Apparently, Win's not feeling that it needs the Lee. Insec grabs it. The Nami as well. So Janna's left up for the Trist combination coming into this one. Really?
I'm at a loss from GPA not taking Lee Sin right here. They can get Janna easily.
Yeah.
Right.
I kind of expect it.
It would be a great pick against Lee Sin as well.
It's probably not going to happen.
Exactly. What is
I mean, the Janna pick here for TPA, if they do lock it in, would be great against Lee Sin because you can interrupt him. You have both your Monsoon, you have your Hurricane. So if he tries to go in and actually, funny enough, insect you and kick you into his own team, you can interrupt it easily as Janna here.
So, one thing though, is the Nami is a good pick against the Janna. They were watching the games earlier today.
Of course. Okay.
World Clippers TSM. I can see the Thresh here, but Janna makes more sense.
You have Janna Tristana. It's been probably the strongest 2v2 lane we have seen.
All right, back
on track. So far. Back on track. We got the Janna pick here against Lee Sin. So maybe TPA's plan was actually to bait out their Lee Sin from Insec and then have the Janna as the kind of the counter pick to it. At the same time, you have Tristana as well, who should be able to handle herself. And as long as she doesn't get kicked instantly by Insec, you have to jump. You have your ulti as well to shoot him away from you. Therefore, you have a very strong bottom lane now, which they are going to need against Uzi and Zero.
I can't see Uzi not picking up the Lucian here. We've heard Doublelift saying a little bit. That's going to go back and forth, maybe in the favor of Tristana on it, but we'll see what Uzi puts up on the table. Back and forth between his Vayne. He's played some Caitlyn. Played quite a bit. Probably going to lock in that Lucian.
It's like he's taking a flower, and every time he's pulling off a petal for the Lucian of the Vayne pick. As soon as he runs out of petals, he's going to have to pick one of them.
Quickly, this top lane. We actually saw the matchup yesterday, Freddy against Cola, where Cola was playing the Rise and Freddy was playing Dr. Mundo, and he managed to beat him in lane one-on-one, but it was, a big part was the fact that Cola used his teleport twice. First going to the bottom lane and then into the mid lane, and he didn't actually get anything from the teleport, so he just lost a lot of farm. He fell pretty far behind against Freddy actually in the one-on-one, so let's see if Archie can do the same up in this top lane. Lucian Nami. I'm not gonna go against Doublelift, who was saying Tristana was a great pick against the Lucian in lane here, but Lucian Nami is a damn scary lane.
I mean, if you go against Doublelift, then you're going with Crepo. There's definitely some differences in these lanes. I'm right now going to take Uzi over BB.
I will as well.
Champions be damned, because he has been so dominating in lane. Lane swapping, I think, is a really high probability in this one. BB himself has said he's not that great in lane, and they love to lane swap.
Yeah, you have a great setup for it. I mean, you have the Mundo as well. You can run together with Wins and not just teleport up when you have the one-on-one to get some farm. You don't need to have this Mundo against Ryze matchup where you just give Ryze a lot of free farm. So lane swapping from TPA would definitely be the best idea here. You can try to counter the fast push coming in from Royal Club, which we normally see in the lane swap, simply by taking your top laner and your support, send them down to bottom lane, because once they fast push into the tower, he can just sit there and pick up all the farm and they can't really dive you.
We see Morning picking up a little bit more throughout this tournament because some of the Syndra that we were kind of, wow, he's picking that up. Now the Fizz. No games in that in the regular season. He's really going to try to put his foot down here.
Bit of a risky pick, though.
Yeah.
We have seen a few Fizz backfire already, especially from Korn.
It can
looking
happen.
earlier today.
Yeah, this one, it's again, they're bringing a couple pretty all-in champions with disengage on their own team. They're really going to have to try and take this kind of like at 20 minutes, but Mundo and Fizz both need longer than that. It's a weird set of champion scalings.
All right, remember, if you feel a team pulling ahead in this match, update your vote by tweeting at LoL eSports. Use the hashtag SHRWin or TPAWin.
Yeah, both Orianna and Lucian will have a lot more impact in the mid game than Tristana and Fizz at this point here, making it very scary for TPA. But then again, they are maybe looking at the last game they played against Royal Club, where they went extremely late game, and therefore looking just to go full late game champions.
We are into our third game of the day here in the group stages, the first set of them here in Taiwan. We'll see what the Royal Club can put up against TPA within this matchup. Definitely a game that counts for these teams. Royal Club not having too good of a game against Team Solo Mid earlier. Let's see if they can take hold here, get a little bit of momentum back in their favor.
And it's got to be a pretty difficult loss for Royal Club there.
Yeah.
Taking multiple Barons in the game and still losing. However, these games actually have gone pretty long in the past. Royal Club plays long games. TPA had actually played the longest games of anyone in the World Championships thus far, so it will probably go late game.
I mean, look back at GPL, they had some fast games because they were dominating some of the teams, but in the final against AHQ, we had like 50 minutes and 60-minute long games because both teams were basically just fighting each other left and right, and nobody really actually managed to close it. And it's been the story for TPA. They had the lead against Royal Club game 1, didn't manage to close out the game. Royal Club came back. Now they've gone with the extremely late game focused comp here with Tristana. You have the Fizz and you have the Mundo on the side of TPA. But Royal Club's team fighting comp is pretty scary.
And TPA again going for the lane swap. They, like you said, they even did it when they were on the blue side, giving up that dragon control. They're ready to go to the late game with this.
Problem is, Royal Club is guessing it.
Yeah, they are.
And going top lane as well with Uzi and Zero.
Very nicely played. And without even the deep wards, they're trying to call this one out. It's actually going to be somewhat of an invade, too.
Yeah, no ward scouting for this lane swap, so it could very easily be forced by Royal Club. They even have an opportunity to invade here. However, there's wards on their own red, so I think we're just going to see buff trades.
So the only information TPA had at that point was simply saying, okay, you're not starting red buff, so you're either starting our red buff or you're starting your own blue buff here. But with the dual lands up in this top lane, let's see if Wins wants to walk into the red buff of Royal Club. Their own wards just disappeared, so he doesn't actually know at the moment if Insect started his own blue buff or not.
He's going though. He surmised it, and they're also going to have confirmation any second.
Oh, this could be big. BB, what did you take? Level 1. He may have to flash out of this one, or he's just going to walk out. He's just going to walk out. Very interesting, though. BB brings exhaust as well.
It's
a Trist.
Boatload of harass they just took in that lane, though. Will set them so far behind, especially since they don't even get the heal to stick around at lower amounts of health. Back to base right away.
Simply again because they had no wards in their own jungle, so they didn't know where Insect was. In the end, he comes in.
He's going to get dove.
What?
Yeah, 2 people.
No, the exhaust for exhaust, but I don't know if it's gonna work. First blood for Zero, and it looks like they get out, I wouldn't say unscathed, but real happy.
And this is basically just Royal Club guessing the lane swap, sending Uzi and Zero top lane, find TPA, and then they take the red buff at the same time, and Insect just walks up behind them. Let's see what Wins can do in mid lane.
Oh, jumps on, gets the slow.
Uh-oh. Be all right.
We're in the flash, though.
Very low on mana. He's going to be forced back on this one. Right, still has the summoners.
So I like the fact he's actually paying attention to the mid lane here, because we saw the matchup earlier. Bjergsen against Korn. Bjergsen on Orianna, as soon as he got all the health potions, like as soon as he got Korn to use all the health potions on Fizz, he was forced to go back. He lost a lot of CS, and Bjergsen took full control of the lane. The fact that Wins comes in here now forces Korn back to base, buys time now for Morning, where he doesn't have to use any sustain to actually stay in lane, get some more farm, and get towards his level 6.
It's a critical juncture in the game, and Morning's going to need to get pretty strong, considering that Uzi may have a pretty free lane up in the top lane to get really, really far. Morning, it's his time to shine on this assassin.
And it doesn't look like they're going to stop with the damage. Double Doran's coming out here, so Uzi can keep the pressure on and just keep that damage in. He's He'll walk right up to BB and say, how's it going? BB's forced to jump out of this. He's only going to have to farm at the turret.
You have the level advantage, you have the sustain from Nami, you have an extra Doran's Blade. I mean, just go straight in the face of BB here. Chunk him down. He only has his health potions to sustain himself. And TPA at this point, they might have to swap down to bottom lane with their dual lane because they can stand here 2v2.
I'm honestly very surprised they even came back to this lane.
Oh, bubble from the brush, and it could spell trouble. Another kill coming in for Uzi on the last shot. BB sticking around. Zero taking a shot. He is going to, walk it in. Double kill coming in for Uzi. That's going to be transferred back over. A nice little shutdown coming in for wins.
Oh, even so, that is a whole bunch of damage, but where did the second kill come from?
Uzi.
The tower, I'm pretty sure, actually killed Zero just before here, but they saw Winds come up to top lane, and they're like, okay, we can't escape, and let's just go for the dive, at least from Uzi's point of view.
Hey, that actually works out. As far as the counter game, surprised me, actually. I missed the kill, but we're going to get one more look here. They get the double bubble, obviously. Nice shot right off the bat. And then here, I think Zero, he's tanking church shots.
Walks in first. Just flashes too late.
Cannon minion got him as well, but since BB had tagged him, BB ends up getting a kill off of that one, and that really keeps him in the lane.
Keeps him in the lane, and he goes for that gold generation off of his buy as well. Trying to stick up and keep that gold coming in. Trying to get a little bit more damage onto Uzi so we can get his harass on. You see, take a J to half health with the Lightbringer and then 2 passives. Zero still trying to hit shots, and Insect now getting in the hair of Wins.
That is pretty greedy from BB up in this top lane here. Going for his gold, put 10 item towards the static shift and not actually
getting it. He can't even trade in the first place.
Exactly, not even getting a Doran's Blade or anything, just very greedy play.
If he's going to be building an Avarice Blade, swap lanes. Go against Ryze in a 1v2 or a 2v1.
So again, they're having a pretty good time, or Archie down this bottom lane is having a pretty good time one-on-one, which would be the only reason for TPA to not lane swap. But your Tristana, who needs to get to late game, who is really weak in the mid game compared to a Lucian, is having big trouble.
Yeah, definitely going to have to question double lift on this on the desk when we go back to the analysts. Matchup isn't working for Trist this time. We'll see what BB had in mind with that exhaust play. Maybe it'll come in big later when he's bigger and trying to make plays. Shields on the turret is pretty much all Jay has to deliver right now as BB tries to soak up CS 38 to 23 in that lane. And like we said, Uzi is on his favorite. He's on Lucian. He's already 2-1-1 with the pickaxe in lane.
It's only going to get worse. Every time you get pushed down to tower, it's so hard to get any farm.
It seems to be the story of every Starhorn Royal Club game is, wow, Uzi and Zero are demolishing their opponents. But what are the other lanes doing? I think is one thing we need to focus on. Korn is actually not doing that well against Morning. Cola is just trading farm with Achi. Considering it's a Mundo versus Ryze matchup and Mundo has not been kept down at all pre-6, the other lanes are going quite well for TPA. This is fairly similar to the TSM game we saw at the very start of the day.
And it was kind of the question actually coming into the whole tournament. How good are the solo laners from Royal Club? Because Korn has definitely been stepping up his game and been getting better and better. But Cola down his bottom lane, I mean, when he's facing people like Going from OMG, he's always been in trouble and been actually losing the lane matchups. And this time around, it's just all focused around this bottom lane from Royal Club being probably the best in China in the laning phase. And then, of course, Insect making the big plays from the jungle. And then the solo laners just kind of had to survive lane, focus on farming, and just join in for the team fight. Speaking of surviving.
Wins not level 6 yet. Tries to get in from the outside. Gets a little bit of a jump, but no upgrade on anything for him. And they don't come up with enough damage. Everything was used on that one by Morning.
And look here again, top lane. BB was forced back to base. He's now going to return to the top lane, which means Royal Club can just run straight down to Dragon with Uzi, with Zero, because BB is stuck in this top lane trying to catch up now and just sit and farm. I mean, he can't even freeze the lane because he has his E actually, so he's going to kill the minions. So he's going to push the wave. Royal Club can take Dragon and just send Cola up to top lane to pick up all the farm later on.
It's already been a pretty big advantage created just by that duo. And it's going to get greater if they can get this Dragon. BB's just trying to farm as best he can. Finally, getting a few CS. He was so destroyed. Far more destroyed, actually, than Turtle had done.
Uzi himself backing to buy his own Avarice Blade to keep money coming in on that side, piecing that in. Doesn't want anything to go to the wayside. Looks like Royal Club is putting their foot down now. It's going to be objective time, or at least clearing the wards.
Can it just go straight for Dragon? You know there are enemy AD carries in top lane. He can't join in, so you're going to be 5 members. Cola right now is going to teleport to the top lane, pick up all the lovely farm, and Royal Club at the moment just fully controlling this bottom lane.
It's just textbook right here from Royal Club. How to use one lane that is ridiculously strong and create advantages throughout the map.
Yeah, and it all started with the fact Insect could walk into the jungle level 1, take the red buff. TPA had no wards on it, and had no wards on the blue buff either, so they didn't know if he started actually on the blue buff or on the red buff. And then he just walked up behind, forced a flash from Jay. BB got pretty low. Yeah. They had to go back to base, and from there on and out, they were just too far behind.
And you know that you mentioned the other lanes, they are quite,
trying to make a play here.
Quite even, but this could teeter it. Those other lanes are quite even, barring that Dragon Gold that just came into Super, or I said it, there it is, Starhorn Royal Club. But they can still keep it going.
The bottom lane is pretty hot right now, so I don't blame you. Uzi is now again in the 2v2. BB just can't catch a break. He's not avoiding the Uzi 0 lane like he needs to. He needs another 10 minutes of farming before you can think about looking at this guy.
Yeah, getting Static Shift first item is not going to do a lot for him damage-wise. I mean, it means he can clear the waves pretty fast, but normally what we see is the people go back on the first back, and they get a pickaxe or BF sword, and then they build Static Shift, so you have some attack damage to back up all your attack speed. Now he's just going to have a lot of wave clear. Insect down his bottom lane, so even when his bottom lane is winning, he still wants to come in and help.
Uzi pulling in the fight perfectly for Insect there. And it's going to be the jump out, however, from BB. They realize that's coming in. They did have a ward in that brush on their side, but it's not going to keep them safe for long.
Turret after turret, though. Uzi is manhandling BB in this lane, and they just can't keep their building safe. The gold lead is just going to get greater and greater until they swap this off. They need to have Mundo following Uzi around because he at least can take a few hits.
Imp did come around to Uzi and let him know was the #1. That top player in the AD carry position, and right now he's showing why. Insect's going to come down and give a little bit more help here. Doesn't look like they could get much out of it, but the pressure is still keeping TPA on their heels.
Can they actually get a kill here? Morning does have ulti. I want to go for him, but he has flash. He has a pink ward he can jump to as well.
See just how ahead Royal Club is, even out of position. TPA catches them. They can't really make a play on it. They need to get back to lane, get these pushed. Wins trying to clean up the mid lane right now. He's getting a paycheck out of this one instead of the lane tax, and Morning's going to say, I want those.
So I did like the idea from TPA here, because you can't just sit and just let this bottom lane happen, because you're going to lose your tower now. You're going to fall even further behind in gold. So what Morning tried to do was just as soon as he saw someone overextending, he moved instantly. If he can try and get a kill on this Fizz here, we know how strong Fizz is in the late game. But he needs to get the kills, because otherwise his team is going to take too long to get him there.
He's got to land those sharks as well.
Fizz is having a hard time today. Any Fizz.
It really is.
And there's a tower going down in this bottom lane. Insect just been staying bottom lane just to secure the tower as fast as possible. You can go mid lane now. Fizz has no safe wave clear. The only way he can clear the wave is by jumping in on his E. And then you're gonna die instantly after here. So they can just rotate Uzi and Zero to this mid lane and start pushing it in on the tower.
Win stays, even after Chum the Water misses. You can kind of see that Fizz play from Morning is not something he's comfortable with right now. This blue is going to be taken out by Royal Club. That one actually, I believe, went over to Uzi, so he can continue this fight on. Didn't get Ardent Blaze on that, but he is able to push them out. He says, thank you very much.
A little baby leap over the wall by Wins. He's just had such a limited impact here on Kha'Zix. I'm still going back to Champ Select and wondering why he would not pick Lee Sin.
Yeah.
Especially when they're against Insect. It's just a total missed opportunity. Obviously, the Trist as well has been demolished, and this is turret #3 that Uzi and Zero are going to be taking.
Great pressure from Royal Club across the board. Playful and Trickster in and out, just for Morning to give a bit of harass, but not even deterring Royal Club. They stay for a bit more farm.
And because Royal Club is just taking all of these towers down, I mean, they're sitting on a lot of gold already. I mean, once they go back, Rod of Age is going to be completed for Rise, of course. Athene's going to be completed for Korn. He might just wait till he can actually afford a large Rod as well. And of course, Uzi should be able to either complete his Infinity Edge if he wants to, unless he wants to get like maybe the Ghost Blade first and just keep being extremely aggressive.
Yeah, Uzi actually has a tendency of waiting far too long to go back to base when he has an advantage because he's tremendously greedy as an AD carry. However, I'm honestly a little upset with TPA. I think they could have done so much better this game in almost every facet. Even if they're going to end up going with wins, at least swap BB around a little bit better than Uzi. At least scout. And the thing that annoys me the most, it's not like they don't know how to do these things. I've watched their games. They've done them in the past. They're just not doing them now in a game where wouldn't it be spectacular for them to win this in front of the home crowd and play huge spoiler to Royal?
Something not really on the table for the moment. We're seeing Zero now join to the bottom lane, backed up by BB and J. They're trying to take white and get everything they can on limited resources. 130 to 79 in that CS. Uzi able to pretty much push forward in this lane almost by himself. Zero's obviously there, but Uzi's ready to bait into initiation and win that fight. Shots from BB coming in 8 and 7 to a 9 and 7 right now. Seeing the gold across the board, 62.02 to that 42-ish hundred of BB's.
And again, we talked about this static shift for BB here before.
Right.
He needed it for the wave clear, especially because you have the Fizz and you have the Mundo, which is not really going to provide a lot of wave clear, so now it's all about wins and BB providing it. But it just makes him so weak in straight-up fights and make it even easier for Uzi to keep pressuring him. And now we're really hitting the point where Tristana has this extremely weak mid-game, which you can punish. And Royal Club, they have no reason to slow down. Let's see what happens in mid lane.
There's a bit of a hit. Morning not really winning this fight, though. The Ignite goes down on both sides. He pulls the ball to him. Perfect move by Korn to deliver it back out with the Q. Nicely done there. The teleport coming in. This is going to be Cola. Does he have the home guards? No, he's just coming out of where it can. Instantly getting that from Nami to continue the slow on his auto attack. Looks like they're going to continue onto this turret now as well. Beautiful play by Royal Club to press an advantage.
Just so much pressure across the board. Orion has already killed Fizz. They got enough harass down. There's that Lee Sin.
Getting the jump in, not able to apply the insect. Enough to get the kick back, but they're going to get the turret, and they are happy with that.
Yeah, but his name alone forced the jump immediately from BB.
So
like,
true.
I'm getting out of here right away because I don't want to die.
I think TPA kind of mind gamed themselves in this one. Last time in the picks and bans, last time they played, they banned. Oh dear, Wins could be going down. The bubble just misses there. Cola's going to pursue. I don't think Morning should help onto this one, and he is forced to flash out. Aggressive play.
Honestly, TPA they were greedy in the jam select. They're saying, okay, let's pick this like full late game focus. We have the Kha'Zix as well, which is going to outscale like at least in team fights. So we're just gonna pick this late game and just hope we can survive, or believe we can survive the laning phase, the early game. But if you don't do anything to even try and save your Tristana, who needs to get to the late game, sacrifice your Mundo. I mean, send him against Uzi, let him get a few hits in the face. Then you're never gonna hit your late game point, unless Royal Club decides to dance around Baron now for the next 10, 15 minutes, 20 minutes we could say as well. I don't think it's going to happen.
I feel like Morning felt he was going to be playing Orianna this game. Last time these two teams played, they banned Fizz against Korn, but left it up this time. Korn didn't have a very good Fizz game earlier, so he didn't want that back.
Old reliable Orianna.
Yep.
And always, all things lead to Orianna, it seems like, at Worlds. Ever since Season 2.
Yeah. Trying to put up numbers on the side of TPA right now. They are down in CS in multiple lanes. Achi really the only one, and Wins, who's been keeping himself in the jungle, is keeping that up. He's got to be putting pressure on the map, though. You see Royal Club in every lane now, keeping the pressure on.
They're basically just waiting now for the second item being completed on every single carry, and that's why they've just been kind of slowing down just for the last few minutes, because they want to have the death cap completed on Korn, you want to have your static shift completed on Uzi. So we haven't seen them go like full aggressive for the last few minutes. They can still do it if they want to.
They've also taken so much so fast. I mean, 4 turrets, 18 minutes in. There's no dragon currently on the board. And honestly, TPA has just been conceding rather than contesting. So there's not much for Royal to take at the moment.
We do see every single member from TPA buying some wards because they know we have to ward up our jungle. If we want to have any chance of catching anyone from Royal Club out of position, we have to have full wards in the jungle. Maybe Morning can pick up a kill. They also need to be in the lane ready to defend. And we talk about the lack of wave clear unless it's BB or Wins being there. Even Wins alone won't do enough. BB was running from bottom lane. Easy switch from Royal Club into mid lane to take it.
Bully, bully, bully. That is what Royal Club is up to right now. Insect Very nicely done. Didn't safeguard with Chum the Waters on, but he actually may be able to keep himself alive. Good focus, though, from Achi and Morning, but it's only focused for so long because of the power. Right now, coming out of Royal Club, drops both Achi and Morning right quick.
2-for-1 is not all that bad for TPA, but it does expose this mid turret a little bit. Rise wasn't even there, I'm pretty sure.
Yeah, no, he wasn't even there. He doesn't have teleport. He's going to run down, join in here. Rottler wants to just try and push in. Only have 1 minion left, which won't survive.
Well, they still got Rise or Uzi to take a few hits. They really want this turret. Johnny Shield, though, is going to slow him down. Poor Royal.
There is teleport for Archie here, so TPA might want to try and chase this one. They have the Kha'Zix for the slow. They are trying. But there's no ward actually behind. There was a ward here. Rottler just passed it, and
there is definitely
Archie
warding,
wasn't
but
ready
at the moment, with no Mundo ultimate, I feel like he would have just been teleporting in.
It's more just
to his demise.
It's more the fact you kind of have to try. I mean, you're 10,000 gold behind at 20 minutes. If you can get the chase, maybe a kill, go for it.
So BB wasn't here either. It was just a bit of a mess in a fight here. Morning landed enough damage, but honestly, Uzi is just in the thick of things, not even really taking damage.
It was what we just talked about, how TPA water Bjorn jungle, have Morning sit there and hope he can take out a target. But the guy only has a Lich Bane. You're not exactly gonna burst down anyone.
Maybe a turret.
Maybe a turret.
You get to those turrets. Infinity Edge for Uzi.
Trying to
Static Shiv
this
almost
might backfire
built up.
for Morning.
Oh.
Yeah.
Oh, Uzi gives him a little laugh too. He's playing with a lot of confidence. Actually, speaking of wards, as they try and chase Morning down a little bit, TPA is an example of a team who actually wards a lot, but it's an example of how wards aren't the only thing needed to win games, right? Because as far as the group goes, they have the longest games, which is one of the reasons they've actually placed more wards than any other team. As far as wards per minute coming into the day, they're actually second amongst teams at Worlds. But the way they ward, they have some defensive wards, they overward defensive spots, they don't necessarily move their wards properly, and they're not really using their wards to take advantages, which is one of the big reasons. You can ward up, but if you're just going to let the other team walk through your wards and do whatever you want to them, they're worthless.
Exactly, and the last point is exactly why they didn't manage to beat Royal Club first time around, because they had a lot of wards down, just never managed to place it properly, never got any advantage from the wards, and ended up going full late game. And Royal Club, they're not going to do the same here. Already put up a lot of aggressive wards here, pushing up.
And it's that second item. There. It's the second main item you talked about. Death Cap on a Corn, Static Shiv on a Uzi, easy push.
A lot of front-end damage coming out of Royal Club now.
TPA needs to just fight because Uzi's not there yet.
They're in a good spot. They have
BB's
Cola
not
walking down.
BB was back in base. Achi is back in base.
It would have been great. Cola was walking down. Not many wards right around them to be used on that teleport, but he's now going to be here. Another jump bubble caught by Zero. They were trying to bait in for Morning, who's hiding in the brush, but Cola takes practically no damage from Chum the Waters, and now they are running amok inside of TPA's base. This one could be over sooner than we thought.
I wonder if TPA is going to fight them ever at this point. BB gets shockwaved in. They don't have the minions to push in, and TPA doesn't have the strength to push in against Royal either.
They're going to chase, though.
A little too early to be in the base for the power they have. It is a lot of power, but is it enough to finish off with waves pouring at them and the whole chaos that's going to be coming from the entire team of TPA? Right now, it does force them to back off. They'll be happy to take down Dragon. Good breadcrumb wards to be seeing TPA on the entry.
They might actually look to fight here. They're moving down every single member. BB still farming the lane, however, so he's not there just yet. No ulti for Corn. Let's see if TPA can do anything at all.
Oh, they want Uzi to go hard.
Low on mana.
Even Uzi safe. TPA trying to make a move here. This might be what they need. Maybe getting out Zero. He does not have the tidal wave right now to be used, but TPA now second guessing even their own moves here.
There is also a bot lane tower because TPA doesn't have a single tower yet. Which could just fall back to the tower. Now they're just pushing up here. Ultis are ready very, very soon. Feeling confident once again to push up and go straight for this tower.
23 minutes in, a supercharged up Rise as well. Rod of Age is probably still ticking or even full with the Saracen Brace completed here.
And after we've seen a few games where the team in the lead early on just go Baron and dance around for 5, 6, 7, 8 minutes.
It's refreshing to see
I'm glad to see Royal Club saying, we don't need the Baron at all. Let's just keep pushing up. We get so much damage on the tower every single time. And if you want to fight us, then you die.
What a ridiculous amount of damage.
Always starting the fight without full HP.
This is going to be the fight. It's
left and right. slowly going down to the inhibitor turret. The Howling Gale is the only thing they're really trying to put out as defense, as Achi standing his ground, giving him the business. A pretty nice drum to waters, but again, onto Cola, one of the tankiest people that they have. Morning just getting kicked around, and he's forced to defensively leave the fight. Insect misses on the Sonic Wave, and they are still holding true in front of TPA's base.
Maybe a slight get. Corn's real low.
First Zero goes down. That's Corn going down in the beginning there. Zero actually still alive, but he's yet for this, or long for this world. There into the fight is going to be Insect. He does not have the kick up right now. He used that just onto Morning. And very low. Royal Club enters the base. Jay's got some hits coming towards him, but Insect backs off because they're getting the space they want inside of TPA's base.
They are just so far ahead. They have so much pressure. They have so many minions. There's actually double super minion wave that would be pushing in here.
Uzi doesn't even have lifesteal.
It would be rather greedy to finish up. Uzi never has lifesteal.
Oh, that's true. Fights like he does, but doesn't.
Obviously, Royal Club's in total control of this game. There's a few tendencies we picked up amongst Uzi and Zero. First off, Uzi pretty much never builds lifesteal until last item, unless he's playing Vayne. Of course, he'll build Blade of the Rune King. And Zero finishes his support item full complete almost every single game.
Here we go.
Very low. Corn actually being caught out here. Just flashing over, and TPA does manage to pick up a kill.
Yeah,
Problem is, they're just still so far behind.
Yeah, this was the power of Ryze and Lucian here in close quarters. Obviously, BB gets blown up as soon as he gets close, and the Hinsec tries he may. He's not able to finish off kills. He's going damage.
Oh! I felt that. It hurt a little bit.
Sometimes it hurts to watch something.
It does.
Just go, ow.
There was a sting there. 26 minutes on the clock. 26 seconds till BB gets back onto the rift.
So one thing Uzi gains by not building lifesteal is more all-in potential and just more straight-up damage. As long as he's opting into the right fights, he doesn't care as much about sustaining in between them. Always just trying to maximize his damage.
One-on-one, Morning Insect.
Oh,
whoa.
EP coming in from Cola as well. Morning not looking too healthy right now. Jay takes that one. Insect waiting for enough energy to take the resonating strike, and he does. He should be able to drop that one quick. Cola's actually going to be able to come up. Kill secured as they move on to the top and final inhibitor turret.
Already have the super minions running into the base of TPA. Should just be a matter of time at this
They're
point.
Indefensible right here. Insect is just having fun. Uzi's going wherever he wants. Even if they're just clearing the minions, it's going to be trouble. This is inhibitor number 3 and probably the game.
Uzi making sure nobody can come off the fountain right now. He is just a wall in this game as Lucian. And it looks like they're going to be able to grab the inhibitor turret, making sure they're not getting too antsy here. They're not really looking at too much damage, but you've seen the mistakes made. They lose a few and they can't fully push, so they're playing it safe.
And honestly, we just saw in the game prior a very one-sided game with AHQ. This is how you close a one-sided game. Royal Club has forced TPA into either giving up all their objectives or taking fights that would just make the game end faster. And in doing so, they're creating a very quick and decisive win. 9 turrets, tons of buildings, huge gold lead. Uzi just went back to base with 4,000 gold, as we saw. They're playing quite well.
And it all started just like from level 1. Again, the red buff for Insect, walk up top lane, 2v2, Royal Club looking so strong. They win it, Insect comes in with the first gank. And every single move TPA made from there on and out was just the wrong one. Like, it made it so easy for Royal Club to just keep pressuring the advantage.
Level 1 in a game really twisted by a odd champion select coming in for TPA. See what they can continue to do with this composition. Royal Club looking to put the final touches on a possibly sub 30-minute game.
Get Baron, go mid for the 3rd inhibitor, use the super minions, and win the game.
Easily picked up on that. 3 of 3 dragons, 1 of 1 barons. The next dragon's just going to be hanging out by himself because I don't think it's going to be necessary. TPA sets up for one final fight as Royal Club, the train, starts coming down the tracks once again.
We just need to see red part and blue part and TPA and just try and take the fight here.
That's the Mundo going down first in the blink of an eye. Not what should be happening. It's going to be the Nexus turrets. It will be sub 30 minutes. Uzi able to take the full combo coming in from Morning, and he stays alive. Onto the Nexus turrets. Onto the Nexus. 13-5. Royal Club will take down Taipei Assassins.
Royal Club doing a good job to come back from their defeat earlier to TSM. This game left no doubt about who was the better team. Royal Club 5-1 in the group.
Just wow. That is what that game is. And you're right, 5-1, now their record as they have played out their matches here in the group stages.
So it's basically all about TSM now. If they do manage to beat SK Gaming, we're going to have the tiebreaker for first place. And as the analyst desk was talking about, either you get first place and you dodge around Samsung White, or you end it at the quarterfinals. But you should never say never. There is still room. There's still room.
You have to play the games for a reason.
Exactly. I mean, while Samsung White would be the favorites, you can still beat them. I mean, they're not unbeatable.
We'll get to see what EDG can do next game. They play AHQ. We'll see what kind of power Samsung White's going to be going up against. And I'm going to say EDG is going to need to get that game powerful because they will need all the momentum in the world to shut down White.
They're basically going to have to show as well that they don't have to fall behind or have a slow early game in every single game. Because against a team like Samsung White, as we saw, game 1 of the entire tournament, Samsung White got a big lead early on against EDG. That can happen again unless they step up the laning phase. But they're always this very, very slow team, so it's very hard for them to suddenly fix it.
You're absolutely right there. I mean,